Dun, dun, dun. Oh, oh. You know what? There we go. That way I don't look topless. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you enter the room, drop a greeting so I can acknowledge you stopped by, spend a little time with me today. Now that I'm seeing this, I won't wear this again during the broadcast because it does blatantly look, yeah. Good morning, everyone. This is Luciana Turner of the LT&A Company bringing you this morning's edition of the LT&A Chatter Project. The Chatter Project was designed to be that up-level, mature conversation around government contracting. We discuss legislations, appropriations, and strategy tips and tools designed to help you scale and grow your government contracting business. I am Luciana Turner. I am your host for the Chatter Project. I have been in the government contracting arena, inclusive of my time in the nonprofit world, since 2000. So that's 21 years. I designed my company to share my knowledge, to share my experience as not only an auditor, but as a government contractor as well. I want to share some of my lessons learned as a contractor, as well as my behind the scenes industry experience as a compliance officer interfacing with DCAA, Department of Labor, et al. In the audit process. So let's get started. We are officially 9 days away from the government fiscal year, FY 2022. We have a monster of an appropriation bill heading towards finalization in the House and Senate. And no matter what you feel about the bill, it most likely will get passed. This will be the first budget we've had passed in, I'm going to say 12 years. I'm going to say 12 years. We haven't had one since President Obama was in office. And we've been funded off of continuing resolutions ever since then, which is why we kept having all of these government shutdowns and etc. However, are you ready to get in motion when the new year starts? That is the question that I've been posing over the last few days. And I fear the answer is no. I'm hopeful the answer is yes. But I want to ask a deeper question. Are you prepared to take action on the not yets that you're going to receive? Excuse me, I'm a coffeeholic and I'm unrepentant and I'm not going to therapy for it. Are you prepared for the not yet you're going to receive? See, in my world, in government contracting, you have yeses, those are your contract awards, and you have not yet. That is when they chose to work with somebody else that time. However, the next time around, they will work with you. So, are you prepared to take action on your not yet? And there's a skill to that. Every not yet is not a lost opportunity, it's just a delayed opportunity. And there's a strategy you should have to deal with that. The next few days, I'm going to deal mostly in resources that a contractor should have. But one of the resources that every contractor should be aware of is that on 85%, and I'm just throwing a number out my woo-ha at this point, but on most contracts, they have something called a debrief. After the contract has been awarded, after they've confirmed the final winner, they will actually, if you ask for it, tell you why you didn't get awarded the contract. Do you take advantage of that? That is the perfect opportunity for the government to tell you what you need to do better. And it's free. It's nothing better than the customer telling you what you can do better the next time around. And even if you don't bid on that opportunity again, because that might be a one and done, it will do you wonders if you bid on another opportunity within that same agency. So that's why I always say in government contracting, you have yeses and not yets. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared to fully take advantage of your not yets? I have a coach, well, I have 4 coaches, but I have a coach, and she has a pet peeve, a bonnet that she screams at us, and I'm using the term scream facetiously. Stop focusing on the negative and focus on what's going right. And the fact that you submitted the proposal, the fact that it got reviewed is something that you did right. So, to that end, take advantage of that debrief so that you can tweak your processes, so that you can improve your chances the next go around. Now, this is a bit of coaching, and I'm not your coach, but you gave me permission when you tuned in this morning to coach you. Another thing that I want to do along that vein that I want to share with you is that you should have a B&P process in its entirety, which includes looking for the opportunity all the way to the end result of whether you won the award or you're going to table the award. If you do not have a process, it is easy to become overwhelmed in this thing, especially if you do not have a super large team. So develop that process. Sit down, figure out your contract mix. If you don't know what type of contract mix you should have, then you need to get on my calendar and have a conversation. Figure out your contract mix. Are you going to do all federal? Are you going to do all state? Are you going to do a mix? If you're going to do a mix, how much federal versus how much state? These are the questions. You have 9 days. I'm not going to say you have 9 days to figure it out, but the new budget appropriation starts FY22 October 1st. You shouldn't wait until October 15th to figure it out. This is the time you can, I don't want to say, take advantage of the lull and figure these things out. Develop that strategy, develop that plan. A contractor who is just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping it sticks, that's expensive. According to Grant Thornton, who does the greatest contracting research out there, according to Grant Thornton, every B&P initiative costs roughly 10% of the contract value. So if you go after a $10,000 contract, it should cost you roughly $1,000. If you go after a $200,000 contract, your B&P is $20,000. You can't charge that to the government. Anybody who tells you can charge that cost directly to the government is lying. But there is a way to recover that cost, but you cannot recover it directly. So the larger the initiative, the greater the proposal or the B&P cost is. If you're doing it without a plan, double that cost because you're going to spend a lot of time spinning your wheel. I tell all of my clients and people who want to pick my brain, I say, write your first 2 or 3 proposals yourself. Don't hire a proposal writer at first. And I say that because you need to know what the ebb and flow is. You need to know what it looks like. You need to know what the government asks. Because even if you hire a writer, you are still the source of the information. Unless you're just going to let them sit there and make it a creative writer project, which means the whole proposal is fiction and you don't know what they're obligating you to, because the RFP is included in the contract and so is the proposal. So anything you cannot deliver on to the government, to the prime, that is a result of fraud because you said you could do it in the proposal that you cannot do it, is a contract violation and is fraud under the law. I can't remember the code right now, but it's actually listed in just about every RFP out there. So these RFPs are legal documents. Your proposal becomes a legal document. So initially, write the first 2 or 3 yourself, then hire a proposal writer, then hire somebody to come in and do that writing for yourself, for you. But initially, do the writing so that you become familiar with what the government is looking for. And to just do a recap, on this is September. On September 10th, there were several FAR clauses that went into effect that directly affects small businesses. One of which being the fairness, I'm saying it wrong, but the fairness in subcontracting to small business clause, which basically stops these primes from doing the bait and switch. Basically they award you the subcontract and then give you no work. It stops that unless they can demonstrate you can't perform. So that is a great boon for small businesses. It's a great boon for certified MBE DBEs because a lot of companies were using them to fulfill that goal and win that award, but we're not using them on the contract because they were essentially doing a bait and switch. And I'm using hustler terminology, but that's all it was, a hustle. And it protects small businesses from that. However, it doesn't take away the responsibility from the small business contractor to be able to perform on that contract and to be able to perform at a high level. And if they can demonstrate you can't perform, they can remove you. So celebrate the protection, but ensure that you can perform. So we can't use law and quote FAR as protection for our inadequacies and to cover a multitude of sins. We can't do that. Now, there are some changes coming down the pike in the next fiscal year. Every small business contractor needs to be aware of. I've stated it before, but we're 9 days from the fiscal year, so it bears to keep before in mind. We have the IT security requirements that are coming out. DoD has already implemented theirs. GSA and Homeland Security is jumping on the DoD bandwagon. So you're going to need more than Norton antivirus to secure your system. There are going to be reporting requirements that come down the pike. There's going to be and one of the reporting requirements is going to be around how many times your system has been attacked. I know it's a significant attacks and some other stuff. As the guidance comes out, I will share it with you, and I'll share with you how it's supposed to be reported and who to whom and under what guidelines it's supposed to be reported. They haven't ironed all that out yet. But DoD has set up, I call it a czar, an IT czar that's handling that. And I will have to do some research to figure out who that is. But DoD is leading the charge. GSA and Homeland Security is jumping on the bandwagon. And I am quite sure by the end of the fiscal year, the rest of the government agencies will be on board with it. There will be some streamlining on the contracting side. We're going to see a reduction in duplication of contracts. So you're going to see a lot more interagency partnerships. So whereas if Homeland Security has a contract out for something that another agency can use, you're going to see a lot more agencies piling on their appropriations onto already existing contracts, which is a good thing for the contractors. It can be good and bad. We're going to see larger contract awards. However, with that happening, we're going to see a condensing of contracts. So instead of 5 or 6 vendors being awarded, we might see 2 or 3. So there's going to be a reduced amount of prime opportunities. However, if you create a good strategy, the subcontracting opportunities will abound. And as far as performance for the government is concerned, whether you're prime or sub, past performance is past performance. And as far as your bank account, your business bank account is concerned, a check is a check. You know, let's just keep it real. We family, we can keep it real. We also know the executive order just went out. There's still a whole lot of stuff up in the air with the executive order around COVID. I still say talk to your contracting officer. And however you feel about COVID, this was an eye opener for disaster preparedness for businesses, period. We had the hurricanes hit, we've had fires in California, and a lot of small businesses did not have a communication plan. Employers were left confused. And if they had a plan that could have went to action, if people knew, what to do, we could have mitigated a lot of stuff that went on. If companies that provided those types of sources had already did the pre-vetting so that they could have jumped to the ready, if companies who wanted to help had already pre-vetted ways to help, it would have gotten assistance to people a lot faster. So I say, no matter where you are, whether you are an end user or you just have a philanthropic mindset around your business and community, you need to include that in your FY 2022 plan or just in your plan period. And so I'm going to wrap this morning's edition up with just a reminder. Every contractor should have a copy of FAR and CAS in their library. If you purchase it from the government printing office, when there is an update to FAR, they will automatically send you the updates. This is the problem with all this. We're just going to look it up online. If you're writing to something and you're trying to look it up online, unless you have 2 computers up, it is kind of cumbersome and difficult. Secondly, the new clauses, it's just kind of cumbersome and difficult. If you you can buy it cheaper off Amazon, but you don't get the updates. If you buy it directly from the government printing office, your subscription comes with the updates. So every time they update FAR, they send you the updates. Every time a proposed update is sent, they send you that notice. And whether you know it or not, as a contractor, you get a say on whether you feel like that proposed amendment is good. If you want clarification, it gives you time to get with your team to see how that affects you. You can get in the ground level to get into some of these conversations that the big dogs are having just by knowing that it's on the street. There's a lot of tools that are out there for small businesses to make a difference. We just don't take advantage of all of them. Some of it's because we don't know, and some of it is because we have the mentality of Twitter, and everything is not compressed into a tweet. I'm gonna close out with this analogy. My pastor was sharing about how he went to an event and he sat at this event for several hours, and there was only one speaker 3 hours in who said something that was life changing, or it presented an opportunity for him. When you attend these network events, whether online or live, focus and tune in. Carve out the time so that you can really focus in. Because just because the first 5 seconds don't grab you doesn't mean at the 5 minute mark something is said that could make a difference. We have to abandon the tweet TikTok mentality of it's not said in 30 seconds, then I'm not tuning in. The 30-second mentality is why people are losing out on opportunities. The difference between those who win at opportunities and those who miss out is often the difference between 60 seconds and 90 seconds. We as business owners have to tune in for the long haul. I'm not saying everything out there is digestible and it's for you. When you get to that point, you can hire somebody to go to these events for you. But until then, tune in, dial in. It could be at the 22-minute mark that something is said that can move the needle for you, but you tuned out at 5 minutes. And with that, I invite you to join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 a.m. for another installment of the LT&A Chatter Project. If you wanted to create a strategy for the FY 2022 year, my calendar is in the link. Or if you want to join one of my upcoming trainer classes, or just want to join my newsletter, my link is in the comments. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Take advantage of the good weather. Well, it's raining where I'm at, but even a rainy day is a good day in my book. And I need to prepare for my pre-bid meeting. So have a great day.